Hello and welcome. It's a bright, brand new day with new opportunities. My name is Raph Wangutusi.
My name is Danflow, Lindwe.
And welcome to the CBS Breakfast Show. We are starting with a newspaper review where we will kick you off with the first headlines of the three newspapers laid before us, and then we dive deeper into what they are saying. So starting off with the Standard newspaper, the title is Gold Money Deals.
For the Daily Nation, we have queries over billions in Swiss banks.
Nice. And lastly, on the Star, it's Kenya's hit by Trump policies. Nice. So those are the three key headlines that we have for you in these newspapers. For the other key headlines, we will also be updating you on them as we go. But now starting with the Standard newspaper, first, the key headlines standing out on the front page, apart from gold money and deals, is Mount Kenya is in government to stay, MP says. That's on page 7. And the picture there is of the current deputy president, Professor Kithure Kindiki. Right next to that is 21 killed, 83 injured in Russian attack. This is in international news on the world page at page 23. And on health and science is work at Kip Keino Stadium stars again. That's on the top right corner, but now on the main story. Of gold money deals, it says that the web of intrigue as Sudan's crisis deepens as Darfur buries over 150,000 of its people. Yet shadowy gold deals thrive amid the chaos. Now Kenya hosts RSF warlords accused of fueling the bloodshed. Sudan has accused the United Arab Emirates at the International Court of Justice of violating the Genocide Convention by arming the RSF. Now, these are the details that are being highlighted in this newspaper, and it finishes with, there is little doubt that Nairobi's silence and missteps are bound to invite global scrutiny, raising questions about complicity in a tragedy driven by profit. What a headline.
What a headline.
What a headline.
The bold Standard keeps bringing up new stories.
Yes.
Particularly stories relating to corruption.
Yeah.
Because now we are seeing our president being entangled in a gold money deal with the Uganda and the United Arab Emirates. We hope he can come out to speak on that, because recently we had even the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, with allegations that the president actually has personal dealings with the RSF. And we're hoping to see if he can actually come out to respond to this, because this actually puts the entire country at large at a diplomatic standoff. So
yes,
we're hoping he can respond to these allegations very soon.
And we will be keeping you updated on that as it unravels, and all the other diplomatic conversations happening, considering the issues that are happening with Ethiopia, Uganda, South Sudan, and Sudan itself, and also with Tanzania and upcoming elections. So there's a lot happening in the East African region. And still
on cases of corruption, we're seeing the Daily Nation highlight queries over billions in Swiss banks. So they're questioning, are we evading scrutiny? Billions of shillings collected from foreigners traveling to Kenya by President William Ruto's administration was banked in Swiss accounts in a questionable deal, reminiscent of the Uhuru Kenyatta government's diversion of the Eurobond proceeds to offshore accounts to bypass the consolidated fund. So as we know, the revenue collected in the country is actually supposed to be kept in the consolidated fund. But this is not what happened with the Eurobond, and neither is it what has happened with the money that was collected from the e-visas.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Money that was paid by foreigners, that was in billions, 6.5 billion actually. And from that money is unaccounted for, because it went to a Swiss bank account. It actually raises a lot of questions, because why is our money being kept in foreign bank accounts? Yet it should be part of our revenue. It should be injected into our economy.
That's
so
true.
Eyes on that. We're hoping the president can also come out and respond to these allegations of corruption. Because, eyes on him actually. Eyes
on him for sure, because just as you've stated, these are public funds, and we're waiting to see how even the Ministry of Treasury will address this specific topic and how this money will be injected back into Kenya's economy. Now, going on to the Stars newspaper, as we read earlier, the headline is Kenyans hit by Trump policies. Below that, it says thousands of Kenyans to lose jobs as US President tough tariffs take effect. Now, it breaks this down, but all through our conversation with you last week during our segment, we were highlighting the different Trump tariffs that have been implemented. Kenya is facing a 10% tariff getting products into the United States of America. Now, looking at the Star newspaper, the breakdown is 180,000. This is the number of jobs on the line due to these tariffs. 100 million, which is approximately 12.96 billion shillings in value of exports, are made to the US. And 54,000, this is the number of jobs lost in NGOs and the health sector. Now, going back again to last week and this specific number of $100 million in bracket the 12.96 billion shillings, this is the amount of money that may be lost in exports to the United States. But according to the Central Bank of Kenya Governor Kamau Thuge, this is just a drop in the ocean compared to Kenya's GDP, which means not much of it will actually affect the economy, but it is still something which will be considered and will be addressed as we continue. So those are the numbers that have been highlighted there, but also looking at the other key headlines on the Star newspaper, on the top right is how foreign firms exploit gaps to dodge taxes. That's on illicit cash flows on page 7 of the Star newspaper. And right at the bottom is family wants body of GSU son exhumed from Legio Maria Church compound. We will also be updating you on this and all the other missing bodies that we've been highlighting. And lastly, Raila backs governors in fight with MPs over funds for devolution projects. Yeah.
An interesting story I'm seeing here from the Daily Nation. They're highlighting a story why MP who recorded 2 colleagues fighting in parliament is in trouble. So last week we saw 2 female lawmakers fight in a fist fight actually.
Yes.
In parliament, and the video went viral on social media. So we've seen, according to the Daily Nation, the National Assembly Speaker, Moses Wetangula, is actually angry with this scenario. He says it was wrong, particularly for the MP who shot the video, to share it on social media. So it's like the legislator who shot the video shared the video with a blogger who made the video viral. So according to Wetangula, he feels the dirty linen, Parliament's dirty linen, should remain within Parliament and not. It was an embarrassment actually to see senior
government officials
in a fist fight. So we're hoping that can be addressed, and we also remember that female MPs were to submit a written letter to the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula explaining what transpired, why they had to engage in a fist fight, and that was actually it wasn't a good picture. So we're hoping to see how that progresses, and maybe the lawmaker who shot the video can be named soon.
Yes, that's actually interesting, because even in the video we heard the voice of someone saying wacha wapigane,
let them fight.
So let's see how this story goes on, who will be put in question of recording that video. Now, continuing into the Standard newspaper is the key highlight or the key story that was going through the headlines all through last week, and now we are seeing it on the second page of the Standard newspaper. So curtains fall early on drama festivals with social issues tackled. So the 63rd edition of the Kenya National Drama Festival is set to end today. This is 4 days earlier than when it was prescribed to end, and the newspaper says that the festival, which was scheduled to run until April 18th, will close ahead of time, and the gala dinner will be held today. Now, student performers delivered powerful performances tackling Kenya's most urgent social issues. We have been highlighting this story, starting with the escalation of events from Thursday into Friday and now here on Monday. So this script was produced by the playwright Cleophas Malala, who was the former Secretary General of the UDA party before being removed. Now, there were a lot of events going around that play with the students not even being able to perform, with only them making a stand by singing the national anthem in tears before walking out. So it's been quite a dramatic event or quite a dramatic weekend, and we're waiting to see how this specific play of Echoes of War will proceed. Will they perform before the president? We saw Cleophas Malala during an interview yesterday with one of the media stations saying that the president should allow for the pupils to even present this specific play, and also he called on the First Lady, Mama Rachel Ruto, to also address this challenge, saying, as a mother, what will be the way forward? And also as an alumni of Butere Girls, considering that is the situation, will we hear something from the First Lady, Mama Rachel Ruto? This is a story that we'll be keeping you updated on as we continue.
We've also seen the president actually respond to the Butere Girls plea. And he says, according to the president, it's like someone was trying to teach the children how to defy authority. And that is, and it's like he supports the ban of the play. So, and also we've seen the children actually, when they arrived at school, they were in tears still emotional. That was a lot of effort they put into cramming the play, practicing for months and weeks actually. And according to the Standard, we've also seen that they were taken to church for some spiritual guidance, at least some psychological counseling to help them overcome that. And we wish the best to the Butere Girls School, and yeah, hoping to see them again next year. Yes, indeed. And another interesting fact, just as you've mentioned, it was at the same event that also current Interior Ministry CS Kipchumba Murkomen also said that parents should watch out for their pupils. So it seems as if the government is on one side of this, saying that it is wrong, or it was wrong, for Cleophas Malala to be the one training these students, and apparently that the political issues addressed were in address of this specific government. So we are waiting to see how this story also unfolds. But yes, those were the events that we have for you so far on that. And also another, moving on to matters health, the Daily Nation highlights a story here, a probe actually. So state probe implicates Medihill in trafficking of body organs. So a government report has flagged possible illegal organ trafficking following an investigation into kidney transplants at a hospital in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. So the Kenya Blood Transfusion and Transplant Services has found suspicious activity for trafficking after investigating 372 kidney transplants at Medihill Fertility and Transplant Center since 2018. So this finding by a 12-member committee after a fact-finding mission at the facility could trigger a full-scale probe against Medihill. So we've also seen, according to the story, Nation actually reached out to the Health Cabinet Secretary, that is Aden Duale, and Duale says investigations will be conducted into this matter. And if it is actually found that indeed Medihill Hospital engages in organ trafficking, then he says he will actually shut down the hospital. And not that the hospital does not, it has branches in not only Kenya, it has branches I think in Rwanda as well and Uganda. So it runs branches in East Africa, and we're hoping to see how that goes. The Nation also highlights a story where a boy from a needy background decided to sell his kidney allegedly for almost 250,000. And when he got home after he had given away his kidney, the money was unfortunately stolen.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a sad story, and we hope investigations into that matter continue, because I think for Kenyans to continue donating blood, to continue donating their organs, they need to feel that it is being conducted responsibly, that, you know, it is, human body should not be sold. Human organs and body parts, it takes away our dignity.
It does.
Yeah, so we eyes on that. We're hoping to see how the story develops. And it actually happens that foreigners are coming from even countries like Egypt, Indian countries, to come to Kenya to get their kidneys for kidney transplants. Yeah.
Wow, well, that's quite an interesting story, and we do hope to see some progress on that report, especially from the Ministry of Health, and how such challenges will be addressed. Now, one key highlight, or one key story that we also need to highlight this morning is the report that was released on General Francis Ogola's death. Now, this is a story that we've also talked about, and according to the report which was released on Friday, General Francis Ogola's plane, which was also carrying with it 9 other soldiers, had engine failure issues which claimed the lives of the soldiers. Now, foul play is what former or what the Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper Party leader, is saying was involved. And according to the reports, human error was ruled out. So we're waiting to see what will the developments be in relation to this story, and also what will be updated on it. Will it remain as an engine failure issue and no human interference, or was there any foul play involved? So that's just one of the key stories that has been developing this weekend. However, 1 year later, finally, the report landed, because that was also on the questions of many people. When will the reports regarding Francis Ogola's death be released? So we finally have it, and now it is up to the leaders and the different stakeholders to go through it and see whether it is up to par. So going back into the Standard newspaper, we are seeing this story highlighted on 3 pages. This is about Kenya's involvement with the RSF and the gold ties, which could be fueling the war in Sudan. So you can get that story on page 4, you get it on page 5, you get it on page 6 as well. So this is the situation on Kenya's diplomatic ties with Sudan, South Sudan as well, and also what is happening in DRC Congo. So there's a lot of developments happening around the region, especially along the borders, and we will be keeping you updated on those stories.
Another interesting story I've actually seen from the Standard is one of influenza type A. So the outbreak is actually getting more serious, and according to the reports, medical reports, the symptoms of this influenza type A are very severe. They actually end up putting one down for up to a week. You know, you get hospitalized because of a cold. It starts like something like a running nose, but with time it gets to heavy headaches, muscle and joint pains. So according to medics, you're being advised to practice the measures that were put in place during the COVID-19 pandemic, actually. So mask up, safe distance, clean up, wash your hands. Because the symptoms are actually heavy. And some people actually thought it was COVID-19 for them to realize it was actually influenza type A. And if it gets serious, one could get pneumonia, a pneumonia infection. So keep on the look for that. That's
quite a development that we'll be keeping you updated on. We also highlighted cholera and the outbreak happening last week. We will give you the latest data today during our subsequent bulletins at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Now, getting into page 8 of the Standard newspaper is respect Kenyans' right to speak freely. This is what the state was told on Palm Sunday. So yesterday, the 13th of April, marked Palm Sunday for Christians across the country and across the globe. Now, according to this newspaper and according to this specific piece, echoing the humility of Christ, clergy urged political leaders to lead with service and compassion. They warned that suppressing different views threatened democratic ideals, urging the government to embrace tolerance. So this is what was the rallying call for, by the Christian leaders when it comes to Palm Sunday, and the specific issues targeting the echoes of war play, Kenyans' freedom of speech and the freedom of expression, because we've been seeing it a lot on the news, and we have been highlighting it especially to you every single morning on the latest developments regarding artificial intelligence, freedom of expression, and now even the media's role in this. Considering how the events took place during the echoes of war in Nakuru the past week, journalists were also attacked. We saw that, we witnessed it, we highlighted it, and we talked about it. This is also infringing on the media of the press. So we are waiting to see even how the Editors Guild will address this challenge, how the Ministry of ICT will address this challenge, and even the Ministry of Interior. Considering that on the key stories that we have highlighted for you this morning, they are only focusing on the political side about Malala training the students. However, on the issues surrounding Kenyans' freedom of speech and freedom of expression, we're yet to hear much on that. So we'll be keeping you updated on that and also look forward to see what that says.
Another interesting story here highlighted by the Daily Nation is Moses Kuria's banks on his wife to save 100 million shillings property. So last week we had told you of a developing story where the court had actually okayed the bank to auction Moses Kuria's property worth 100 million. But now, and the bank had said that the court had said that the bank was actually lawful. And now we are seeing Moses Kuria's wife coming out trying to save the property. So the spouse, that is Kuria's wife, has filed a case arguing that Equity Bank didn't seek her consent before registering assets as securities for 54 million shillings loans. So according to the Daily Nation, it is like it is up to Kuria's wife to save the property, because now it's like the court needed spousal consent. So Gram Investments advertised the auction of former CS apartments in Ruaka and also in Jujaj, and the wife is saying my consent was needed. And I think we're waiting to see, will Kuria's wife, will her submission to the court save the property, or will it still be auctioned? So that is a developing story, and we'll be keeping you updated on that.
Nice. And now moving forward to the next story here is on abductions. Now, starting on page 10 of the Standard newspaper, is abducted MCA has linked his ordeal to fallout with Wajir governor. So Ahmed claims that he was tortured and repeatedly interrogated over his opposition to the county budget. He alleges that even after his release, he continues to face legal and police intimidation. So this is Delaware MCA Yusuf Ahmed giving talks or talking about his ordeal in abductions. However, the key story that also took place this weekend is on Saturday, the 12th of April, the abducted chiefs returned home safely. Now, this is also a developing story that we have been updating you on, from when they were released to when they were with authorities, and now they are back home. We have seen that they're interacting well with their family members. We are also waiting on updates on that and how their life will be transitioning going forward, as well as during in their stay at work. So we'll be updating you on that. And yeah, we are waiting to see how the government also addresses this issue, because this is abducted chiefs, abducted MCA. We've seen abducted Kenyan protesters during the finance bill protest, and we've also seen CS or former CS Justin Muturi addressing issues of abductions. So it's been abductions, and we'll be keeping you updated on any other news relating to these abductions.
Yeah, and we're hoping the abductions can actually come to an end, because from observation, we are noticing that no one is actually spared, from chiefs to MCAs to sons of cabinet secretaries, normal Kenyans, and we're hoping it can actually come to an end, because it gives an impression of lack of security in the country. Now, another story being highlighted here by the Daily Nation is that public hearings on proposal to pay village elders is set to begin tomorrow. So these are actually very important, a very important group in society, village elders, like the Nyumba Kumi elders. And now there's a proposal that they ought to be paid for their services. So it is a transformative milestone in Kenya's journey towards devolved governance, says Murkomen. So Kenyans have a chance to express their views on what could be a landmark shift in community leadership. Should village elders, long seen as unsung heroes of grassroots governance, be officially recognized, remunerated, and empowered by law? Please respond to that by giving your opinion, and yeah, chime into that. Let us know if you'd like the village elders to be paid, because they actually do a lot of work in our villages. They solve disputes, they give information to even the security organs around. So Kenyans have a chance to express their views on what could be a landmark shift in community leadership and administration tomorrow. The government has for the past 2 years made it an open secret that it desires to formalize the role of village elders, and has even prepared a draft national government village administration policy. So there will be 10 county halls across. There will be 10 county regions across the country. So 10 places have been selected where Kenyans are set to gather, give their opinions on whether the village elders should be remunerated, how much do you think they should be remunerated, and just a look at the policies. What do you agree on? What do you disagree? Yeah, and I think they actually do very important work, and it's good that the government is considering their pay.
Okay. Now, developing even into deeper stories, because we have been highlighting the Standard in the daily newspaper, Daily Nation. There's a key story now on the Star at the bottom left, where Raila backs governors in fight with MPs over funds for devolution projects. Now, when former Prime Minister Raila Odinga got back into the country after his bid of the AUC chair, he talked about an increase in disbursed funds to counties. Now, according to the latest data that we have, only 405 billion instead of the 450 billion recommended by him has been disbursed to the counties. Now, according to the Star newspaper on page 9, Raila backs governors against MPs in fund row. So, this is said by an MP who have no business managing NGCDF and should instead focus on oversight role. That's according to the Star. So ODM leader Raila Odinga has opened a battlefront with MPs and publicly asked Parliament to give up the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF, instead to back devolution. So according to the paper, MPs have clung to NGCDF despite repeatedly being declared illegal by the courts. This has also been the same case with the salaries, with the office of the, with Margaret Akango, the Budget and Remuneration Commission. So we are waiting to see how this story will be developing, considering that 450 billion is quite a lot of money. We're waiting to see how this money will also be disbursed into the counties. Is it specifically for schooling? Is it specifically in healthcare? Or is it specifically in infrastructure development? So that has been Raila Odinga's call when it comes to the money disbursed into the counties.
I'm seeing here a story. So tomorrow there's an event, a Nation Health Summit. So this is actually being sponsored by the Nation Media Group, the Ministry of Health and other partners. And among the key guests at the Nation Health Summit tomorrow at the KICC will be Cabinet Secretary for Health, Aden Duale. We'll also be seeing Patrick Amoth, the Director General for the Ministry of Health. KMPD Secretary General, that is Dr. Atela. So please rush there tomorrow. And it will be open to the public free of charge. Get there tomorrow at the Health Summit. The theme of this year's Nation Health Summit is Towards a Healthier Population, Innovation to Accelerate Achievement of Universal Health Coverage. It will start from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. From the 15th to the 16th of March at the KICC. Free, please remember, entry is free of charge. Get there, learn about health. Maybe you can even ask the Health Cabinet Secretary, Aden Duale, any questions you might have about the health sector and the current challenges being seen, particularly with the Social Health Authority. Yeah.
Yes. Indeed, and now getting into business news. This is on the Standard newspaper. The key headline there is Trump taps Kenya for pact in agriculture despite tariff spat. So US will provide support to Kenya, Ethiopia and Ghana through its Food for Progress program. And it goes on to read, decision comes despite the recent 10% reciprocal import tariff slapped on Kenyan goods by Washington. So just as we've been highlighting, there's a 10% tariff on all Kenyan imports into the United States of America. However, as this article reads, we will still be receiving assistance from the United States. However, now also key on these stories, it says that there's a training for jobs. So the Germany Deputy Ambassador to Kenya, Alexander Farley, on the right, Centurion Systems CEO, Kevit Desai, and Ensigna Group Managing Director John Senecloth are taken through a new machine by Solomon Kiboi, a Kenyan, a CNC trainer, during the unveiling of the new CNC training partnership at PC Kinyanjui Technical Institute in Nairobi. So the training aims to equip the youth with specialized machine skills and industrial growth for employment. So we are seeing these are the efforts by the government to ensure there's more job opportunities and more investors getting in to tap into the available working market in the country.
I'm seeing here a story of bandit attacks. So this is actually a security concern and a crime story. So criminals now focused on killing. So bandit strikes deal blow to peace efforts. Administrators have appealed to the government to arm them following attacks. So peace efforts in Kerio Valley have suffered a setback with renewed bandit attacks that have seen at least 10 people killed in the past 2 months. The latest incident included the killing of an anti-stock theft unit officer and a chief in separate attacks, dealing a blow to the 1-year-long multi-agency security operation to crack down on bandits and recover illegal firearms in the region. So I think when the deputy president, that is Kithure Kindiki, when he served as the Interior Cabinet CS, he actually put in a lot of work to end banditry in the country, and now it's like we're seeing a resurgence of that with 10 people already killed in the last 2 months. So you're hoping maybe the new cabinet secretary, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, can also put in efforts so that we may see an end into the banditry attacks that has for so long actually interfered with the peace and security of the region. So eyes on that, and yeah, condolences to the families that lost their loved ones.
Yes, indeed, and we will be also highlighting the developments when it comes to banditry and all the cases currently ongoing in the country, as well as what is changing and what the government is doing in relation to it. So still on business topics, there's on the Standard newspaper on page 11 is Farm sues Kenya Pipeline Company over 4.9 billion tender rules. So according to the story and according to the paper, Kenya Pipeline Company's plan to upgrade oil flow systems faces legal hurdle after a local farm moves to court. Now, according to this, the farm alleges it was locked out of the multi-billion shilling tender due to rules barring foreign collaboration. So we've been talking about energy and the different deals that are in the country currently, with Saudi Arabia having 3 current oil deals with the Kenyan government. Now we are seeing the new move by the Kenya Pipeline Company for the new construction of tanks aimed at enhancing oil flow in Western Kenyan depot. So we are waiting to see how this specific story develops and what will be the resolution that they come to. Yes, we'll be keeping you updated on this and other business stories.
The Nation newspaper highlights here has a story why Gadungu, that is the Auditor General, why she doubts a 431 million shillings payout to Ketraco. So the Kenya Electricity Transmission is in the spotlight over conflicting records on how it spent the 431 million shillings in compensation for landowners displaced by electricity lines from Olkaria geothermal power plants to Kisumu. So Auditor General Nancy Gadungu said the recipients of the payouts by Ketraco remain unclear, raising questions on the legitimacy of the payouts. So during the year ending June last year, June 30th, 2024, Ketraco paid 172 persons 207 million for the land acquired during the construction of the Olkaria Lesos Kisumu transmission. But the Auditor General, however, says that during the previous, so she says at the time, it's like the figures are not matching up. So waiting to see how the 431 million was actually spent, because according to the Auditor General, she's giving a red flag on this. Were the victims actually compensated, or where did the money go if they were not compensated? So we'll be giving you updates on that, following up on that story still.
Yes, indeed. And now, considering that we've talked about most of the key topics on current affairs, business and politics, we cannot leave out games. Starting with the Daily Nation, or the key story on the Daily Nation sports sector is Hammers see red as Salah hits higher note in title match. So this is the breakdown of the events or the games that have played as of now. Liverpool won 2-1 against West Ham yesterday. Chelsea drew 2-2 against Ipswich. Wolves thrashed Tottenham 4-2, and lastly Newcastle also thrashed Manchester United 4-1. All right, now welcome back. Sorry for that slight error in technical challenges. Now, as we were saying, just to close up, we've talked about all other stories in business, current affairs and politics, and now to just close for the current sports development is we have 4 games that have already happened. This is Liverpool against West Ham, where Liverpool won 2-1. Chelsea drew with Ipswich 2-2. Wolves beat Tottenham 4-2, and Newcastle beat Manchester United 4-1. So those are the sports developments that we have for you. This wraps up our Monday morning newspaper review. My name is Raph Wangutusi.
My name is Danflow, Lindwe, and please remember to grab yourself a copy of the daily newspapers today.
Yes, stay warm, stay safe, stay here at CBS News. We will catch you next time. Cheers.
Competitive Manpower International Limited